I am with Charleston Animal Society. I am one of the foster and rescue. We are now associate directors. With myself, I've actually been in this position since 2011, so I have a vast knowledge of this, where we built it from ground zero. Um, Currently, right now, we have less than 50 animals in foster, but we put almost 220 or 2,200 animals in foster every year. For our shelter, the primary number is going to be kittens. Um, and I know that a lot of you had questions about retention and how to recruit. So part of that is going to be community based. While she does that, I do want to say that I believe that the future of shelter organizations as well as animal welfare are going to be foster care. And those are going to be placing those animals in foster, building that community support, which you guys already know. The way that our program is presented is going to be based on animals that are in the facility here that are needing placement, whether it's for playtime and growth or the ones that are under 4 weeks of age up to 10 weeks. Medical care, so broken legs, other medical concerns. We actually don't place heartworm positive dogs in foster because we adopt them out and then they come back in for that treatment. So I know a lot of shelters do that. We are lucky that we're able to do that in that capacity, but it also frees up some of the resources that we have for foster. So I do want to touch on a couple of the programs that we've implemented. One is Team Tiny Hearts. So these are the kittens that are babies. So anywhere from 7 to 10 days old that are coming in, and we specifically train foster parents on how to do the bottle feeding, the tube feeding, as well as caring for them when they are in critical care. So another aspect of that is our EKT program. It's an emergency kitten technician. So these foster parents are trained on how to take animals that are in that critical care where they are needing fluids. They need to be tube fed. They need to have medication administered every couple of hours just to be sure that they are doing well. And this has prevented our medical care for kittens that are having to come back, whether they are not doing well into foster, as well as reduces the number of emergencies we have every day. So another part of that is also going to be the training information that we do. So our training involves an in-depth manual that we have created. Unfortunately, I have been trying to get it to where it's edible, to where other shelters can kind of like take snippets of it, as we've done in past apprenticeships. However, we're not able to do that currently. But with that training is we do one-on-one training. So versus going and doing a large orientation with these fosters, we do one-on-one. So the way that the applicants start is they can apply online or they can apply in person, and they'll go home with animals that day. And that has streamlined our foster program to we're able to place more animals into foster than ones that we're having to wait until they go through those orientations, the trainings. We do not do background checks. The two stipulations that I have for to be a foster parent, so you have to be 18 years and older and live within our area. The way that our demographic is it's based on 3 large counties that take a part of the low country of South Carolina. So with that being said, you can live anywhere within like an hour or so radius and be a foster parent. And that has put less restrictions on us, and it's based on an open foster program, just like an open adoption. Um, with that requirement, we teach you guys or teach foster parents on caring for the animals, caring for the kittens, the puppies, what to look out for. And like I said, with that, that has reduced the number of animals that are in the shelter that are waiting to go out because we can put up to 60 kittens in foster a day. With removing all of those barriers, we're able to place more, like I said. All right. If you can advance just a couple of slides.
Okay, cool. I was going to ask
And
which
I can
one.
share this with anybody if you want a little bit more information. Under the recruitment, where it's like right under slide 9, this kind of goes over how we find foster homes. So a large portion of that is going to be social media for our facility. That's our special baby. He was able to be adopted full recovery from his sarcoptic mange. But under foster recruitment, The way that we do is going to be social media. We have a large Facebook private group just for foster parents to join once they apply. So it spreads out that knowledge to other foster parents that are sharing their information. So maybe somebody has a kitten that can't needs a babysitter, something like that, and they will send invites to their friends after they apply too. So our online engagement on our website, first and foremost, says become a foster hero. So it's right there as soon as they go onto our website, they have that information and it's detailed what the program entails and what animals can go into foster. Another part is going to be our humane education program. We are lucky that we have a large program based on humanitarian for children. And with that, we go into camps each week and we talk about the animals that we have for foster. We explain what they can do as children to help their parents and guardians be a foster parent. Another part is going to schools. So at this time, I'm not going into schools, but our humane team is. And they're talking about best ways to foster and support the community and the shelter here. And then adoption events or business partnerships and community events. So we're constantly out and about in the community. We actually have a program where businesses can ask us to attend a event that they have, but they have to pay us. So they have to pay a fee for us to be able to come out to the event. With that, we will go over everything that they're asking for us to do. And a lot of times we actually will talk about foster there. So it gives us, oh, sorry, it gives us a larger view base. So shelters that are around town, or sorry, not shelters, but events that are around, a lot of people are hesitant coming to a shelter because it's scary or it's super sad for them. So they can see out and about in the public what the programs are like that we have here. All right. And if you can fast forward just a little bit. So see, these are some of the events where we go kind of through. And then this one, this is my favorite part. So matching foster homes with the animals that we have here. And the biggest thing is getting to know your foster parents. So knowing what they are able to, their capacity for care is, knowing what they like to foster. Maybe they have Siamese kittens and those are their favorite. So trying to work with them a little bit. You don't have to do it with every single foster parent, but the foster parents that are dedicated, they foster year round for you. We'll have some that are like, hey, do you have any of these little babies? And I'm like, you know what? I do. So constantly working with them. So building that relationship and that rapport is crucial. Another part is what we call fast track fosters. So you have a citizen who just found a litter of kittens and it's 4 o'clock at night, you close in an hour. What we do is we ask them to foster them for the night. We give them all of the supplies that they will need. And a lot of times, probably about 90% of the time, they'll actually become that foster parent. And then you'll build that relationship with them and they'll foster again and again. And also will help with trap, vaccinate, alter, release programs too. This right here kind of goes over our Facebook group page so that we have, we'll post on there what we are needing for foster care. This one, we highlighted that it is one that needs to be syringe fed. So that way the foster parents know ahead of time what they're getting into. So the other part where I was talking about is foster training on slide 13, Kelly, is where we're going in and we're teaching these foster parents how to care for those animals. And a lot of it for me personally is maintaining the foster health and also cleaning and disinfecting. So if we will place kittens that have panleukopenia, ringworm, sarcoptic mange, calicivirus as well into foster care. And we're teaching them how to care for those animals specifically and what our shelter protocols are. And then also disinfecting. So we send home rescue with all of our fosters. So that way they're able to go in and clean up after each foster that they have. And like I pointed on, we also do specialized training too. And that's going to go over syringe feed, tube feed, subcu fluids, and wound care. The next part is our foster rechecks that we do in-house, and those we do 7 days a week. And we would do 10,000 appointments. We went through and figured out the number, and those are going to be 10,000 medical and wellness exams. Unfortunately, we just lost one of our staff members who is our dedicated foster tech, but that is something that has worked out really well for our organization, is having the same foster technician see the animals back to back. So that way they know what's going on with those animals and they know what's going on with the foster families. Another part of that is we do them certain days a week for certain visits. And the way that our program works is based on AHA recommendations. We do vaccinations every 2 weeks at 4 weeks and older. We go through everything right here that you see on the screen is what we provide, except for heartworm testing. We do not do that on cats. The other part that I will touch on is the 24-hour emergency. So the shelter is open 7 days a week, but what we have streamlined is we have a voice app from Google. It is a text app that the foster parents can text us during the daytime if they have a medical concern. And that has reduced the number of walk-in appointments that the foster parents have had. They also know that it's not going to be for an emergency, but so my kitten's sneezing, something like that. And it is streamlined, like I said, the amount of appointments and walk-ins that are coming in for our technicians. Okay. The next slide is with our veterinarian, Dr. Fuller. So this one is a little tricky because other shelters do this differently, but this is what has worked with us in the past is our veterinarians tell us what medical cases need to go out to foster care. However, the kittens that are coming in that are anywhere from bottle babies or neonatal kittens up to 8 weeks, we know that those kittens need to go into foster. So unless they have medical concerns, we send them out to foster that day. And of course, if they do have a medical concern, we'll address it with with the veterinarians in-house, and then we'll go from there. With that, it has allowed us not to have a backlog of animals that are in the shelter needing foster because we have a limited capacity, like every shelter throughout the states, they also have one or have limited capacity that you are able to care for. And we only have 30 cages in our kitten room. So being able to get those animals out to foster that day allows us to have more space, especially for the medical care kittens. All right. Maintaining fosters. This is something that every person I've talked to that is involved in a foster program has had questions about. And this is something that I had to learn the hard way. So maintaining fosters, a big part is seeing those animals for their weekly or bi-monthly rechecks. And we tried to put it in a Google Calendar. We did a planner. We tried everything. And we were told about Full Slate. Now there's different versions of this. Acuity is one, but this is a online scheduling program. It's just a data system that is available online. Now there are fees for it, but you can get that paid for by a grant also, or somebody in your community can sponsor it, which is what we've done in the past. So fullslate.com is the program. And the reason that I love this is because foster parents receive a text message and an email. So they have no reason to say that, oh, I don't remember when my appointment is, because it alerts them. And they do not leave the facility without an appointment scheduled. I don't know what everybody uses as far as the data system. So PetPoint, maybe Shelter Love, but we use PetPoint and it allows us to put all the information in for that foster parent. So they have the animal's information, as you can see. And we also write down when they need a recheck appointment. So foster attention, this is where I touched on building that relationship with your foster parents, whether it's yourself, the volunteer coordinator, another staff member. Ideally, it's going to be the person that's most involved with the foster parents is very crucial to your program. We have foster parents who go through hardships, and we know that sometimes they need a break, and we allow them to do that. We're not going to pressure them to take animals home if they're not in the capacity to do so. And a big part of that is going to be multiple litters of animals. So we do not place multiple litters in foster care at a time. I know not everybody is able to keep them isolated from one another, and that is going to be the biggest thing as far as disease control. With that being said, we're not overwhelming the foster parents. We're allowing them to care for them at the capacity that they're able to. However, I do what is called a little foster and a big foster. So foster parents who are bottle fed trained, they can have a litter of bottle babies, and then the other litter says 6 weeks. So they're not going to be interacting with one another. And then the 6-week-old kittens are going to have surgery in 2 weeks. So by the time that the babies or the littles are getting more mobile and active, the other ones are going to be gone. Another part is for our foster retention and support is our Facebook group page. This we started in about 2018 with this, and it has grown over to 3,000 members. Not everybody posts in there, but some of the foster parents have posted that their animals are being very therapeutic for their family. As you can see, this one right here, Nugget, was something that was very needed for this foster family. And then also we have ones that have passed away. So the foster parents and our staff are able to send their condolences, counsel them, talk to them about what they went through. And we never put blame on a foster parent. It's just for foster parents. You do have to apply, or you have to answer a couple of questions. That's going to be, are you a foster parent? Have you filled out the application? Um, so it's just for foster parents, but also staff is on there too. And the reason being is because they're the ones that are in-house caring for those animals. So they get to see their progress in foster care. Another part of foster retention is celebrating the foster parents, thanking them for everything that they're doing. Because if we didn't have a foster program, we wouldn't be able to place those 2,200 animals every year into foster. Um, and so our facility here would be completely over capacity. Um, so there's different ways that we do foster support. It's going to be talking to the foster parents every single day, whether they're coming in for a food refill, we say thank you for fostering. Thank you for being a foster hero. And that can be any other staff member that says that. It doesn't necessarily have to be the foster team. Another thing we do is a volunteer homecoming event. We give out goodie bags. We've done t-shirts in the past. So things that we think might be silly to those foster parents, they love those because they can wear their t-shirt. They're going out around town that says, I'm a foster hero. And other people are going to see it and they're like, you're a foster hero. What is that? So it's also word of mouth and recruitment at the same time. This one is another thing that we do. We partner with different restaurants that are in the show or in the community, and we ask them for gift cards to different places. So currently we're working with the deli, and they have provided us with gift certificates for all of our foster parents and our volunteers that we have elected as a foster of the month. Those can be somebody that had a litter of mom and 10 puppies. So that's a lot of work. I personally could not do that because I like sleep too much. So those foster parents that are able to take those animals in and maybe they need a little reward. Another thing is something that we implemented is when a foster parent loses one of their fosters, whether it can be for medical, accidental, and it doesn't matter. We give them a little gift bag that has tissues, a little rainbow bridge card, some candy. Sometimes we'll add a little bit of different things in there, and we give that to the foster parents. So Nancy, you asked about foster supplies. Let me go, just, can I go back to the chat? I just want to double check. I'm going to say that correctly. We do send home every single supply that the foster parents need. There is a slide on it, and I apologize, I skipped it a little bit. But we'll send home a carrier, crate, blankets, every single supply that they may need. At least I think I put it in there. I might not have actually. And so as far as the food, we work with Science Diet. So we use Science Diet kitten and puppies. We do the canned food, the dry food. Another part is we ask for donations. So specifically, we ask for Royal Canin Kitten, mama and baby, and that's what we feed the kittens that are under 4 weeks of age. So we have it if they are from bottle baby or nursing mom and kittens to 4 weeks of age, they're fed Royal Canin mother and baby. And then they're transitioned to either Royal Canin Kitten or to Science Diet. And the reason that we do that is because we don't want to be feeding multiple different types of food because it's going to cause GI upsets. The other part is if we specifically give donors what we need in the facility, they're going to be purchasing those. And a lot of times you can get somebody, they'll put it on Chewy, and it's just a reorder that they do every couple of months. But we do purchase that in-house. And I will tell you, it is expensive, and you can get grants from ours. This is my favorite program. We actually attended a apprenticeship at Charlottesville Humane with Kelly, and this was back, I think, in like 2017, 2018. And this is our field trip program. So this is what we utilize to get more adult dog fosters. Because like I said, here in the facility, we have more kittens that need to go out daily. So for Paws Around Town, it's kind of an entry to being a foster parent for an adult dog. Um, Finding adult dog fosters is the hardest thing that I have found. I don't know if other shelters are going through that. I know a couple years ago, yeah. But anybody can participate in this program as long as they're 18 years and older. So we have college kids, families coming in, people who are not able to um, have an adult dog themselves or a puppy. So the way that the program works is going to be all of our animals that are available for adoption for the adult dogs. Sometimes we'll put like a 8-month-old, but generally it's going to be a year and older. Those are the dogs that are going to go on field trips. They can also go on sleepovers. Um, with that, the foster parent takes that, or the volunteer takes the dog out for a day. We have a manual that goes over every it's like not really a manual, but it's like 2 sheets of businesses, restaurants, places that they can go to in and around town. And most of the time, what happens is you'll have one person come in and they're going to sign up every single weekend. But we do it 7 days a week. So we don't put any limitations on it except for you have to be 18 and you can't bring your personal dog with you. Um, and also we'll only send one dog at a time with the person. But with that, so these two girls fell in love with that dog. They took it on a sleepover, walked it around, and then it was adopted 2 days later. So that's the part that I love because they're taking the dogs out of the shelter environment, putting them out and about where they're so much more comfortable, and finding adoptable homes for them. Or what also happens is they're used to taking the dogs that are needing foster care or needing adoptable homes. And they're like, well, hey, like, do you have anybody that's special? And we might have one that's super fearful or one that was previously a stray and we don't have any background information, maybe ones that aren't doing well here at the shelter. And those are the ones that we put into those programs. We also partner with the Charleston County Recreation and Parks, and they send us park passes to all of their parks. The Paws Around Town foster parents and volunteers get a free pass, and they can go into that. Now it's one pass; it's kind of rotated, but the way that we do the program is it's 7 days a week, and they can come in. They have to sign up in advance on signup.com because it's a free program. And we'll send home a backpack, all of the supplies, so water bottle, food, like little snacks for them. We'll do hand sanitizer, waste bags, and then also seat belts. And then those Adopt Me vests, which we purchased from Etsy. It's a person who owns our business that makes all of those vests. We also use Easy Walk harnesses, and my trick to getting those is to purchasing them from Chewy because Chewy has a lifetime replacement policy. So if the dogs chew on them, you can just send Chewy a picture and they'll send you a free replacement. So the next slide are some of the other dogs that have gone out into the program. So you can see that they pretty much can go anywhere and around town. We've had dogs go on a boat, which is hilarious to me. But that's pretty much our foster program. There is more. I kind of condensed it for everybody just because it's a shorter webinar. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I'll help you in any way that I can.